Hello, and welcome to Schmitty Explains, the only talk show where I'm the only one who talks. Now listen, we're talking about ladybugs right now, but let's get the cart out from in front of the horse, so to speak. They're not bugs. Ladybugs are beetles. You know, it might be a hard realization for you, and listen, I understand, but if we want to start talking about ladybugs, that's going to be an important thing for you to, realize. Now you might be saying to yourself,
Schmitty,
you're on the bottom rule of thirds. What's going on here? But that's because I'm lazy. Now, the main difference between a bug and a beetle is that bugs eat mostly plants and liquid like nectar, and beetles eat mostly, they mostly eat plants and well, they eat plants, but they mostly eat like tiny little baby insects. So, textbook, let's talk textbook here. Ladybugs are actually called ladybird beetles, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna call them ladybugs for the rest of this, because that's just how they're called. But they were shipped over from, originally they were shipped over from Australia in order to stop crops from being eaten with colonial farmers, because they were getting their crops eaten by aphids. And listen, ladybugs, they have a knack for aphids. Essentially, the following will be a collection of semi-organized thoughts and facts about the life and life cycle of a ladybug. And you're probably saying to yourself, that's boring. Ladybugs can live anywhere from 2 to 3 years. And I mean, you guys know the drill from like 6th grade science. It's egg, larvae, pupa, adult. So they go through the 4 stages of life, and then they die, unfortunately. Ladybug eggs are these sort of tiny orange pill-shaped looking guys. You'll see one. Oh nope, you'll see one over here. And so ladybugs, they'll lay their eggs on the underside of leaves, and they'll to protect them from birds and from the elements and keep them safe, and hopefully they turn into like, a pretty cool ladybug type beat. Immediately after being an egg and getting hatched, ladybugs go into the next stage of life, the larva, and I gotta say, ladybug larvae are horrifying. I mean, just look at that. It looks like an upside, kind of like a backwards sort of upside down, like alligator, where it's like kind of orange, kind of black, but basically they feast off of aphids, and they the whole 9 yards. They just eat a ton of aphids. So next up is the ladybug pupa, and so they already sort of kind of are starting to look like a ladybug, like in the traditional sense, like an adult ladybug that we all see on like our sliding glass doors. But so ladybug pupa attach themselves to the underside or top side of a leaf, and they just kick back and relax for about 2 to 3 weeks, and they just chill, and they don't do anything. They just So next up, the ladybug's body undergoes a remarkable transformation. Remarkable. Directed by special cells called histoblasts. They control a biochemical process through which the larval body is broken down and reformed into an adult ladybug. Now you might be saying, you sound smart when you say that. And that's because I copied it off of Wikipedia. Now, when they bust out of their little, they bust out of their pupas, they're looking a little bit pale, a little bit yellow, maybe don't even have spots. They take a little bit of, maybe a couple days to ripen, get a nice deep color, like a banana. and then they're full-on adults, baby. Now don't worry, you guys, we just got to the exciting part, so don't leave yet. We're talking about ladybug reproduction. Now in the last video I was talking about worms, and they didn't reproduce traditionally, but these guys, they get a little, you know, get a little nuts with it. So the ladybugs pictured over here are reproducing sexually. I know. So what happens is the male ladybug attaches himself up top. So say this is the ladybug, this is the man ladybug, and he attaches himself onto the back, and he can stick up there for about 2 to 3 hours, and he just does nothing except get his sperm in there. And listen, you might be saying to yourself, come on, you know, don't talk about this. We're in, like, this isn't like a type of movie that I like. But listen, that's just life, and you're gonna have to deal with it at some point. But so the sperm of the lady sits in there, or no, not the lady sperm. What am I talking about? The male sperm, after he, you know, detaches, you know, gets it done, his sperm stays inside the lady. It could stay there for about 2 to 3 weeks, you know, and then she uses it, does some stuff inside of her. I don't know what, but she basically lays an egg, and babies come out. But then she hits the jets, like she busts the joint, and doesn't see her babies. I guess they maybe don't have an emotional connection really, because they're bugs. Well, not bugs, beetles, but they bust the joint and get out of there. It's basically impossible to tell a male ladybug, so it's basically impossible to tell a male ladybug from a female ladybug. But there's a few things that can, you know, lead you to make an assumption, so to speak. So the male ladybug is smaller than the female ladybug. Can we get a flower power, ladies? And the male ladybug during sexual reproduction is on top. So that could lead you to believe which one is which. Now, if right here, nope, right over here, you're gonna see a picture of a male ladybug and then a female ladybug under an electron microscope. Now you'll notice with the male ladybug, he's got these little like things on he's got like these little ridges, I guess you can call them. And then the ladybug, female ladybug, she's a bit more smooth, you know, a little bit more, I guess, you know, curvy, so to speak, I guess. Now listen, I gotta be honest with you. Life is fleeting, you know? It's not, we all die, unfortunately. And so ladybugs are a victim to this as well. And so their main predators are birds, dragonflies, maybe even a spider, if we're getting nuts here. But you know, it's just tough, you know, to think about, and it just makes you feel bad, you know. Now, if a ladybug manages to live through its 2 to 3 year lifespan, it's still gonna die. And so they live, say, during the winter when they hibernate, which is a thing they do. They live off of their internal body fat, and if maybe they run out of that stuff or something like that when they get old, they dry up and just, you know, it's just how it is. You know, it brings a tear to the eye, but it's nature. And I mean, you can't argue with nature. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go inside and make hot cocoa. I'm tired. My back's itchy. You know, I've researched about ladybugs. If you want me to explain anything else, drop a comment, drop a like, maybe even share with your grandparents or your mom, and you know, just show your mom. In fact, wait, hold on. Is the white balance off? Probably. Well, there's only one way to find out. We're gonna find out later. But all right, so